So hello guys, and welcome to another video, and today I will be discussing some of the more spoilery content in the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake, since there's a few really interesting things to talk about here. And as an obvious reminder, there's gonna be spoilers, that's like the whole point of the video, but yeah, if you haven't beaten the game yet or seen any of the extra content, I suggest waiting to watch this video. Or if you don't care about spoilers, you can just go ahead and watch it. But yeah, let's go ahead and start discussing it here. So, I'm gonna start off by talking about, like, the end of the game. Like, the Palace of Shadow area. And I think that was handled really well. Like, I like the fact that it actually plays the overworld music in the battle in a similar way to how Color Splash and Origami King do their, like, final dungeons and everything. I think that's pretty cool overall, and the dungeon itself is definitely a glow up from the original. I love how the fire bars have, like, realistic fire, and the Riddle Tower looks just, like, really interesting. Like, you see all these, like, glowing star patterns. It looks really cool, like, when you're doing, like, these puzzles and everything, and the music just is absolutely amazing. It was pretty good in the original, but it was kind of repetitive. So I'm glad they made it, like, a bit more interesting. Just the kind of, like, they either, like, make it more interesting in the dungeon itself, and to also make it interesting in battles, because if they just kept it, like, as an exact, like, rendition of the original, I feel like it would sound, like, pretty repetitive when you're doing battles, but it actually, like, slowly evolves as you're going through it, kind of similar to, like, Bowser's Castle in Paper Mario 64, which is, like, really nice overall. And I really like the option that you could actually retry bosses, like, during the story. It's a little disappointing that that feature is enabled in the Pit of 100 Trials, because, like, the whole point of the Pit of 100 Trials is to go through it in, like, one go, which is, like, how I've done it. So I think that's just a bit weird that they have it like that, but for bosses in the game, like, for the Grotus and then fighting Bowser and Cammy right after that, and also Shadow Queen with, like, the cutscene, I think that is definitely a really helpful feature for, like, newer players and things. I beat it all in one go, because I'm pretty good at Thousand Year Door. Well, not super good, but, like, I know what to do in this game. So, I was also kind of over-prepared as well. Like, I had too much stuff, I would say. But, yeah, it's nice to have that feature there, because I have heard that that's in the game, even though I didn't get a game over in my playthrough. It's still nice to know that that's there, and, like, also, like, some of the new battle themes as well for, like, Grotus, Bowser and Cammy, and the Shadow Queen are amazing. I know some people aren't, like, a huge fan of, like, the final Shadow Queen music, but I think it sounds pretty good. Like, I feel like it gives you, like, I mean, it's supposed to sound creepy at the beginning, but I think the final, like, phase kind of makes sense to be, like, a little more exciting, since, like, the Shadow Queen has been weakened and you're kind of, like, supposed to, like, unleash your full, like, abilities with the crystal stars. So I think it kind of makes sense that the music is kind of creepier at the beginning, and then, like, once Mario builds up the courage, it's, like, more exciting. I think that music change kind of makes sense. I mean, it was kind of exciting in the original one, too. Like, it still does have that, like, creepy vibe to it as well. So I think it sounds, like, pretty good overall. And, like, just overall, the presentation at the end of the game is, like, amazing. Like, with the Shadow Queen's design, she looks even creepier than she did in the original game, which is, like, really cool. I think it definitely adds to the, like, the whole, like, kind of aesthetic and everything, and just, like, and it's interesting, like, they kind of kept her, like, very shadowy look and didn't make her look any, like, more paper-like, which I kind of like. I mean, obviously, like, she is, like, still paper thin, kind of, but, like, I like how she still looks, like, very otherworldly compared to, like, the rest of the characters. I think that's pretty interesting, and, like, some of her new animations are just really cool as well, and there's also, like, the you just have like this really cool like cosmic effect as well, which I think like with the shadows kind of coming out of the ground, that it just looks really cool overall, and I just really like how that was handled. And some of the animations are really cool, like just during that whole sequence, like with Shadow Peach and everything, like some of her different expressions, and then the whole cutscene with like the everyone cheering on Mario with the crystal stars, and then also like when the shadows were going over the world, like you could more kind of see how what was going on there, and you could more clearly see like the hands going over the world there, which I think is pretty interesting. It doesn't look as like kind of like a bit. It looked a bit weird in the original. It looks like they just turned down the lighting in the original, but now it actually looks like there's actually like some sort of event going on, which I think looks much more cinematic and everything. And then the whole scene, like when they're cheering on Mario, the music in that scene is amazing, and they have like different like sections for like each of the areas that they're representing. So I think that is really cool as well. And after you beat the Shadow Queen, the whole ending sequence is also great as well. They also made it a bit more cinematic. I like when Mario and Luigi are back at the house and then Peach and Toadsworth arrive. I like how it like takes a picture of them and then shows that that picture is in the book and everything. I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of like ending off that story and everything. So I think that's really cool. And then another thing that I really loved about the ending of this game is the credits. That definitely got a glow up from the original, I would say. Like the fact that it like shows kind of like a parade like sequence, kind of like Paper Mario 64 a little bit. I think that's amazing. I guess it even takes a little bit of inspiration from like how expressive the characters are in the credit scenes from like Sticker Star and Color Splash. Well, maybe not too much Sticker Star, since they are like kind of like static like stop motion things, but Color Splash was a little more expressive in the credits scene and everything. So I'm glad they're kind of bringing back that idea of kind of like a character parade, but they're kind of putting it in the format of like a stage play. I think that looks amazing, and honestly, I would say it's definitely like, I would say it's tied with Paper Mario 64 as my favorite credit sequence in the Mario RPGs. It's just amazing overall, and to see all of those characters there. I don't really have that much against the credit sequence in the original. I think the music was really nice in the original, but I really like how much more personality there is in the credit sequence in the remake. Like, you see them play out all these little events from the different areas, and it's really cute overall. So I really like how they handled that here, and the music sounds amazing as well. But yeah, there's also some post-game content as well. I actually haven't beaten these bosses yet, since, I accidentally went through the Pit 100 trials for a second time, and I realized that you had to hit the Waka 8 times. I only hit it 2 times. I forgot that you had to hit it 8 times in order for it to disappear, so I had to go back and hit it 8 times. Still need to beat it though, but I think it's absolutely amazing that they made Waka a boss in the Thousand Year Door remake. That is the most Paper Mario fan service-y thing ever. Like, and the fact that, like, we get all of these really cool things like that, like the Waka boss, like, after, like, all of the times that modern Paper Mario has forgotten, like, about the classic games. We just get, like, a full-on return, like, all of this fan service for the classic games. It's just amazing. Like, I've always loved the idea of, like, Waka becoming an enemy. It's kind of like there's like a fan creation of that called Waka's Revenge, which I think is pretty funny, but I always wanted to see Waka be an enemy in an official game, because I think the Waka in like certain games has had unused graphics for attacking, or unused data for attacking, I believe. It's like something like that. But I'm glad that they've actually revisited that idea and made Waka into an actual boss. I think that is amazing. And it's also one of the hardest bosses in the game as well, which I think is really cool. And it's definitely like a pretty great idea overall. Like, I really want to see future Paper Mario games do, like, funny, amazing things like this. I just really hope we see, like, more things in the future. Like, imagine, like, a Super Boss Junior Troopa. That would be amazing. Like, maybe in a future Paper Mario game, they have him return, and they have him as, like, one of the hardest bosses in the game. I was hoping they were gonna do that here, but I'm not too disappointed, because the bosses that we do have are just amazing. And then the other boss that they added was Prince Mush, and I think that's also really cool that they, like, added Prince Mush as a boss, like, since he's the first champion of the Glitz Pit, it makes a lot of sense to have him here. And it's also kind of similar to the Master from Paper Mario 64. Like, he's basically this game's equivalent to the Master now. Like, I was thinking at first, like, that the Battle Master, he was gonna get, like, some sort of battle that was gonna be similar to the Master, since, well, his name is similar, Battle Master, the Master, but Prince Mush is basically, like, the Master here, and it's just really cool overall. Like, he even, like, charges as well, which is kind of, like, pulled pretty closely to the Master, so that is just really cool. Like, just having something else in the Glitz Pit and having, like, another reason to go back to the Glitz Pit, because the Glitz Pit was already a very replayable area of the Thousand-Year Door, so it's great that they have, like, another incentive to go back to it as well. And also the fact that Waka is in the Pit of 100 Trials is great, because I like playing through the Pit of 100 Trials, and I like that they have, like, another thing at the end and everything, and that is just really cool. But the new additions to the remake are great. And, like, I definitely recommend checking this remake out if you've even already played Thousand Year Door, because there's, like, a lot of new things to offer here. And even, like, the parts that were in the original game that I was talking about definitely got a glow up, I would say, and are definitely worth checking out if you've already played the original game. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.